Hi traders, my name is Duncan Cooper and I'm a Senior Market Strategist and Trading Mentor at AUDJPY Securities. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the key trading levels for the week ahead for the pairs the Australian dollar to the Japanese yen, the Australian dollar to the US dollar, the euro to the Japanese yen, the euro to the US dollar, the pound to the Japanese yen and the pound to the US dollar. So let's get into the first pair. Hi traders, hope you had a great trading week. Now I'm on the Aussie Yen daily chart here, got my support and resistance levels drawn in, monthly, weekly and daily, and I'm just going to reference the ones closest to price action, but all my levels on my charts are in the description below if you want to reference them. So last week we actually managed to have a bit of a pullback after the massive move up, so levels to watch for the coming week. At the end of last week we were getting support at the monthly support level here at 90.72, just stopped short a couple of pips. So what I'm anticipating is we will probably come up and re-challenge 92.68, which is weekly resistance. We rejected that last week and we kind of held there 2 days, dealing at that level to move down. So we may well come up for a retest. That could hold and we could move back down to retest monthly support. And what we might find is that we could be putting in a lower top, time will tell. So we could come up for a retest, hold and move back down to test support once more. Of course, strength could just come back into this pair. This is just a higher bottom forming and we could actually come up and re-challenge the high of last week. So a couple of scenarios there. So the levels to watch, 92.68 could be resistance, that's weekly resistance. We've got daily resistance up here from last week at 94.31 and we held at monthly support last week at 90.72, so we could find the same thing as well this week. Alright, so that's the Aussie yen, those are levels to watch. Alright, moving on to the Aussie dollar. Now, very consolidatory last week, a little bit short of 75.55 monthly resistance, and I found another weekly resistance level that I needed to put on my chart, which was 75.32. Went back in time and found it, and what I then saw was that price action last week was holding at 75.32 weekly resistance and was pretty much bound by weekly support at 74.78 from that old top over there. So rather consolidatory last week, bound by weekly support and resistance, but we did start to form here a little bit of a lower top. So what I'm anticipating this week, there's lots of support levels to break through. It needs to break through 74.78 weekly support, newly formed daily support here 74.56, then day support here 74.41, 73.67 more day support, and the bigger level of support that you probably want to watch out for as a longer term target if we do move down is 73.14. So lots of support levels to break through if we are forming a downtrend here, but I'm anticipating that we could start to move down, break through all these levels, and the longer term target maybe over the next week to 2 weeks could be down at 73.14. So I'm anticipating that we have failed up here with the lower top forming, and then price will need to break through these levels with a longer term target down at 73.14. That's what I'm looking for. Okay traders, so those are the levels to watch on the Aussie US dollar. Alright, so on the euro yen last week we came up to 137.49 monthly resistance, held, traded down for most of the week, got a bit of support just ahead of 134.12 monthly support. So my question is, will we come down to monthly support? Let that be support for then a turnaround to come back up and have another retest of 137.49. Alright, of course if yen strength comes back into the market we could obviously move through this level, and then the levels to watch would be 133.47 monthly support, 133.14 weekly support, and much further down we've got day support at 131.90, but anticipating that maybe monthly support could hold for a move up. Support may have already come in ahead of that, which is strength coming into the market, and then we could come up and retest 137.49. So those are levels to watch on the euro yen. Okay, the euro US dollar had a positive week last week. Did move up to a higher top from a lower bottom, so a lower bottom here up to a higher top. But if you had your levels drawn in, we were obviously moving through some resistance levels here. We were trying to move through daily resistance and weekly resistance, and we came up 1 or 2 pips short of weekly resistance at 111.86, this long-term low over here that we've moved below. So that was a definite resistance level for the market. Massive outside reversal candle, and we're kind of back into the middle of this trading range between resistance and support. So looking at this pair, with that reversal midweek, I'm anticipating that we could just continue down, retest this shorter term level of daily support at 109.61, but anticipating we might move back down the range now to test 10900 day support, and of course we could challenge the lower levels of support too. Monthly support at 108.79 and a newly formed weekly level at 108.06. So it does look like we failed at weekly 111.86 resistance. Big outside rejection candle. I'm anticipating a move back down to test those lower levels of support. So those are the levels to watch during the trading week for the euro US dollar. Okay, getting into the pound crosses, pound yen. So we had a very strong rejection at the 163.06 monthly resistance level. Went through it a good 150 pips, but a massive rejection. And then we came back down and formed a support low ahead of monthly support here at 158.21. So support's come in, so I'm anticipating at the moment we're going to get some form of further move up to retest 163.06. So you're going to need to watch all the yen crosses. Do they all form a higher bottom for a move up? If we start to see continued strength, we may well come up and retest all the monthly levels of resistance that we tested last week and move through. So look at them as a highly correlated group of pairs. So I'm anticipating we could move up to retest 163.06. If we hold there, obviously we could be putting in a lower top. So the question is, do we hold there to put in a lower top, or does that level just break and we're coming up to re-challenge last week's high at 164.64? Alright, so those are levels I'm watching. Of course, we might not get up to that level. We could put in a lower top and come down and retest 159.04, and of course come down and retest 158.21 as support as well. But trend is up on this yen pair. This is a higher bottom. First of all, I've been anticipating that we're going to move back up and retest where we failed. So watch those levels on the pound Japanese yen. Alright, last pair to review, the pound US dollar. And as I noted in my commentary, the pound crosses were the weakest out of these 6 pairs that I'm reviewing. So the pound dollar, there's a few lines here, might look a bit complicated, but ultimately this monthly level of support has been switching from support to resistance and backwards again. So at the start of the week we were above that level, and then we broke back below it. So then that level actually became resistance. So here was the start of the week, just there. We broke below it, we came back up, and then 131.68 Wednesday, Thursday became resistance, and then we moved below another level of support, 131.34 weekly support, closing below that level. So 131.68 and 131.34 monthly and weekly now resistance for the market. Watch those to retain that polarity, me resistance next week. And what I'm anticipating is finish negative Friday, negative for the week. We're probably coming down to challenge retest day support 130.51, and then it's eyeing up the 130.100 level, which is weekly support. Alright, so anticipating after a negative week this week that we're just going to continue down and challenge 130.100. Alright, after failing at the 131.68 monthly resistance level. So those are levels to watch on the pound dollar in the coming week. Okay traders, that's my analysis for today. If you want to keep up to date with my analysis, simply subscribe to the channel. I look forward to seeing you next time. Now if you'd like to follow my forex trading analysis throughout the week, why not subscribe to the ACY Securities live interactive trading feed Telegram channel. Simply contact Nathan.bray at acy.com to get access.